welcome to the June edition of HR Hot Topics. I'm your host, Jody Schaefer, and I'm coming to you live from my back deck. A little different scenery for you today, folks, but wanted to bring you the most informative 5-ish minutes of your month without fail. And I have a construction project going on inside. So Will and I got really creative and just shifted the camera 10 feet to the right. So here we are outside. It is a gorgeous summer day, and it actually coincides really nicely with the topic I wanted to talk with you all about, which is employing youth during the summer. So my kids are out of school on Friday. You can bet both of them have jobs because that's just how I roll, and I know that's not a surprise to many of you. So for folks like you who might be employing kids like mine, there are some rules that you need to know about. So there's the Youth Employment Standards Act that really governs how an employer is to interact with students ages 14 to 17. So that's going to be the focus today. If you own your own business and you are employing your own family members, none of these rules apply to you. So I'm really talking about individuals that you are not directly related to. And it is 14 to 17 years old that have most of the rules. So rule number 1, your youth have to have a work permit. Even though it is the summertime and they may be getting out of school and not have a class schedule to worry about, they still have to have a work permit. So work permits come from the school directly. So you would interact with your employee, right, the student would go to their school, they would get this work permit, and then they would bring the permit to you. You would keep that on file for the duration of their employment. If you have a student who is homeschooled, they would still get the work permit from their local school, even if it's a school that they're not actually attending. So that's the first thing you need to know. There are some prohibitions on the kinds of work that your students can be doing during the summer months here. Actually year-round, but the focus of today is the summer months. And I'll tell you a quick story about this. I got my first paying job when I was 16 working at a golf course. I had babysat for years before that, but that was all under the table cash. It was like the best kind of job, right? But so I'm working at this golf course. I got hired to be the dishwasher, and then within my first week, the cook quit. So I got a $3 raise. I became a short order cook and learned all of that on the job. And it was a great summertime job. And there were a lot of things that I could do at 16. I could use the knives, I could work on the flat top griddle, but could not use the meat slicer. That was a prohibited task. So there are a whole list of tasks like that that are prohibited depending on the age of your worker. I will link to all of those in the email message. So just, keep an eye on that. Another one talking about how youth might be slightly different from your other employees has to do with their interaction with alcohol. So if you are a place of business that receives more than 50% of your revenue from alcohol, then you can't employ youth. If that's not the split and you get 50% or more from food or, in my case, golf services or that kind of thing, then that's fine. You can have youth working for you, but they can't work with the alcohol or around the alcohol. And, just a quick funny story here. My very favorite employee at the golf course while I was working there happened to be the bartender. So this was a bit of a problem because, well, for a lot of reasons, for those of you who know me, but I used to like to go chat her up. Like when there was a downtime, when there were no orders coming through, I would want to go chat her up. And I would find myself behind the bar chatting her up. Well, that's a no-no, right? Because I was 16 years old and I wasn't supposed to be anywhere near the alcohol. So every time the manager walked through, I had to duck down or quick run away because I wasn't supposed to be back there. So there are some rules like that. Just make sure that you check that list of prohibited tasks. Make sure that you're complying with those. And now, I'll just kind of end with the questions I get asked the most, which have to do with breaks and working hours. Again, I am talking to you specifically about what is required during the summer months, because when your students go back to school, if they're still going to work for you, even if it's very, very part-time, there are more stringent requirements when the employee is in school. But during the summer, your youth can work 5 consecutive hours before they need a break. The breaks have to be 30 minutes long, uninterrupted. So keep that in mind as you're scheduling, and you do have to keep record of their working hours and their breaks. And then there are some limitations on how many hours in a day and a week the youth can work, and it's dependent upon their age. So your 14 and your 15-year-olds, can work a maximum of 8 hours a day, a maximum of 40 hours a week, and as late as 9 p.m. Your 16 and 17-year-olds have a little bit more leeway. They can work up to 10 hours a day, 48 hours in a week, and during the weeknights they can work up to 10:30 p.m. Weekends, their quitting time is extended by another hour, 11:30 p.m. So a bit more flexibility there. Again, I will link to a lot of this information in the email message. The Department of Labor actually has a really nice FAQ on this that I think will hit most of your other questions. So keep an eye out for that. I want to just thank all of you before I let you go. I want to thank all of you because we did a webinar last month, and it was the 6 biggest mistakes new leaders make and how to avoid them. You guys, we had 200 people register for that webinar, which was mind-blowing because I've never produced my own webinar before. I've spoken on other people's webinars, but it was really cool to, come up with my own topic and put it out into the world, and for so many of you to sign up to see it, and then sent such kind words afterwards. So the content was solid. I'm glad that I delivered on that. If you did sign up but couldn't watch it live, check your email inbox because we did record it, and you should have the recording sitting there waiting for you to view. So thank you to all of you. And we're going to do more of that, right? It was well received. I think it's a great way to kind of get out in front and continue to add value for all of you that interact with us. And so you can expect more webinars like that in the future on other compelling topics. I don't know what they'll be yet, but it'll be great. And then the final thing, just a preview for next month. Next month, I will not be coming to you live from my back porch. It will be even better. I will one-up it. Next month, I'm going to be coming to you from Italy. So my husband has a sabbatical this year. We are taking our 2 girls, and we are heading to Europe for 3 weeks. So tail end of June through mid-July, I will be exploring the world with my family. And I want to make sure, though, that I do not miss our monthly time together. These videos are really important to me, and I want to make sure that I hit your inbox expectation every month. But I'm going to film next month's on my phone from somewhere beautiful along the coast of Italy. So if you've never been abroad or you're just pining for some really beautiful scenery, be sure to tune in next month. And I'll bring it to you live, and maybe I'll do a little tour, a little site tour too. You can see what's up, and maybe even see some family members. That would be kind of cool. Maybe I will introduce you to my family. We'll see if they're presentable and if I'm feeling, like they're worthy of presentation or not. We'll see how it goes. By that point in the trip, I might just be me with a glass of wine at the end of the day, being like, guys, I'm not coming back. I don't know what it'll be, but tune in July. It'll be worth it. And until then, of course, if you have questions, you can reach me directly, Jody Schaefer at workwithhrm.com.